So what's going on? Legion Nuda here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind episode 51. Let's go ahead and get right into an XP update. 277,000 attack XP. Woodcutting sitting at 918,000 XP. We've been working on this a little bit behind the scenes. Construction 2,005,000. Runecrafting 483,000. Magic 75,000. Mining 4,053,000. Artisan 4,038,000. And cooking 197,000 XP. So what I want to do really quick here is actually pop a cooking potion, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up a couple things that we actually made. And then after that, what I actually want to do is work on rune crafting a little bit, as it's something that I think has sort of been put on a back burner a little bit in the last couple of episodes. So I really want to focus on this a little bit. And so we're definitely going to want to bring a rune crafting potion. I guess we'll just bring 10. And then obviously I guess we should bring some arrows, because we are going to be encountering some essence nodes that sort of floating around. So let's go ahead and grab some arrows right here. And we've got a ridiculous amount. And the reason for that is obviously range is going to be coming to the game on September 9th. And that's not really the only reason. I think a big part of that is going to be the fact that we actually use arrows to get a lot of the rune essence down. I think it's the most effective way. So we really haven't been stockpiling like we used to do, where we sort of just play the game, and then while we play the game, we sort of just knock down all the rune essence and then let it respawn and do this over and over, which is obviously a great way to do it. We just haven't really been doing a lot in the game. We've been focusing on a lot of other things behind the scenes, like wood cutting. We're really trying to get to our milestone of 1,000,000 XP. And so we've been focusing on that quite a bit. So it looks like our cooking potion's still active. We actually haven't even activated a rune crafting potion, so we really want to do that. It's going to be really important to get that extra XP in rune crafting. But we're close to 500,000 rune crafting XP, so I imagine after today we will be at 500,000 rune crafting XP. So would I call it a milestone? I really don't think I could say that's a milestone. I feel like it is definitely, right. I can't believe I was not hitting that. But so I feel like that is definitely a milestone, right? 500,000 XP in rune crafting. But at the same time, I feel like 1 million is really where you could say that's a milestone. And obviously 500,000 XP in rune crafting is still definitely something to be looked at and basically acknowledge that that took quite a long time to get. But I still really wouldn't call it a milestone, even though it sort of feels like it. And we've talked about this, I feel like, almost way too much, but 99 and what that's going to look like. And suppose I don't really know yet, so we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with that. But potentially 500,000 XP could be enough, but I'm not entirely sure. So excited about a lot of things going to be coming to the game. And ultimately, for right now, we're just going to be patient, and then range is going to come to the game, and it's going to introduce a new way to do combat, which is exciting all in itself. Don't really think they're going to be giving us new creatures to fight in the game, but regardless, we've still got lots of work to do. So whether or not they give us new creatures doesn't really change what we need to do. If we're way off with our guess and what 99 is going to be, maybe we've overshot a tremendous amount, and that's okay too. We're not really worried about that. I think if anything, it's just going to help us along the way, and sort of as we're going to be where we want to be, and I think that that's going to be a good thing. So obviously farming is going to be loads of fun. Really excited about that. And I know that I haven't really been working on construction anymore, so I think it's going to be really cool to be able to get back into that and have a reason to work on it again, because currently right now I don't really have a big reason to work on construction, sitting at 2,005,000 XP. So rune crafting, back to sort of talking about milestones. It's interesting to me because I feel like a milestone for cooking is basically 250,000 XP, 500,000 XP, and obviously 750 and then 1,000,000. And I only say that because they've got to do something with cooking. I feel like it just takes way too long to level, and I feel like cooking is going to definitely need another look, because I don't understand why that would be the one skill in a game that is just so horrible to level. Um, I'm not quite sure what that's about. And that also, I mean, I don't think they intended it to be that way. But if you were to look at potentially what amount of XP would be required to reach level 99, why would cooking be the one thing that's just going to be like terrible when you can get better XP in every single other skill that you're going to level in the game? Um, I'm not quite sure why that is. But really quickly here, last episode, I believe it was, I sort of showed where I thought the best place to get cooking regions was. So that's obviously in a fractured plane. So if you didn't watch the last episode and you're kind of curious what we think that area is, it's definitely the place that we showed in episode 50. But ultimately, I really think that that's just got lots of potential. You've got the dwellberries, you've got all the different animals that keep spawning in sort of a good area that you can just sort of hunt. And then, what was it? They've also got onions there. So lots of different things that you can get that are going to help you. And that seems to be good. And also, I was clearing a forest out here. Uh, and it's crazy because there was an area that I recently was at, and I think that's probably the best place to actually get oak logs. In a small area that there was just so many logs at once. And I just also would like to say, do you know how hard it is for me right now to sort of see all the different things I need to do in the game? Like I've got to go bust up all those logs, and then I've got to clear out this forest, and then we've got 2 cows up there and a bunch of rats. It's so hard to walk away from that and sort of not take care of it. But actually, this is the area where I feel like the most oak logs spawn, but it's actually further over there, way over there on the left, where there's a couple trees still. I believe it was like 5 or 6 oaks were sitting there, and I just sort of took notice of that. So, like, if you weren't going to be destroying the trees completely like me, that's actually where you'd want to be getting your oak logs, as there's just such a large amount. Let's make sure we pop another rune crafting potion, as ultimately, I feel like we definitely want to be getting the most XP while we're doing this. So, another thing is, even if like level 99 was only 500,000 XP in a skill, there's this part of me that feels like I would want a million XP in each skill, even if it wasn't really required to have it to get level 99. I still think that would be quite an accomplishment. And obviously, it's a road to max. So I think it's interesting to me because I wouldn't need it, but I still think that there would be some sort of feeling of more feeling of completion. I know it sounds a little bit weird that I wouldn't necessarily need it to reach completion, but I would sort of want it. So I'm not sure how we're going to go about that yet, because ultimately, I guess if I was already level 99 in cooking and I didn't need to go collect another 10,000 resources, I might not want to. So we'll just kind of take that by ear and play it out, and see what happens. So that's pretty much it for that. It's so interesting how I was trying to build my mannequins and how much flax I actually needed. And then now that I don't really need it, I've been collecting, and I've actually got a personal, one of my little storage chests, and it's got tons in it. And also, if you notice here, right, on the mining bar, while I'm actually leveling this up, you can actually see there's like a little yellow icon that shows you your progression to, what is it, like, I think it's 100 million XP, right? So it just shows on the mining one that I've got a lot more of the yellow bar filled up. So that's just your progression to 100 million XP, which obviously we're not going to be getting. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like that would just take an incredible amount of time. And I'm not prepared to actually put that kind of time into getting this absolutely atrocious amount of XP in each skill. I feel like getting 99 is going to be plenty. And obviously, I'm going to be very happy with that. So you can see here how we've cleared out lots of the forest. We've been working really hard on that, and just trying to sort of get ourselves in a position where we can wipe out the entire forest in the beginner area, and then we'll sort of work our way. And we obviously don't want to get rid of all the trees, but I don't know. I've just sort of noticed different things now that there's less trees. So I can't really confirm or deny whether or not it's helped with load-ins, but I can see a small difference. In certain areas, a larger difference. But like I stated, I really can't for certain say that that's the case. Look at those clouds. That's so crazy. Like a big storm system coming in here. We obviously got the rain coming in now. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things to appreciate about this game. Obviously, things can always be better in any regard, no matter what you're really talking about. We got this goblin over here who seems to be irritated by our existence. So we'll see if he decides he wants to come over, and he does. So now we've got another one who wants to shoot an arrow at us as well. So hopefully we can just get these taken care of really quick here and then be on our way. Hopefully we don't aggro the other one. Okay, we got away. So ultimately, we're probably not going to do our entire route that we normally would do with the rune crafting. We are going to do a large part of it, but I don't really want to do all of it. But this is crazy. You can see how many trees we've gotten rid of in our efforts to work on woodcutting, getting it to a million XP. Ultimately, I think that there's just so much we want to do in the game, which makes it really hard to play sometimes because we see all these different things, like even this little cabbage right near me right now. I can't leave it. It's just like right there. I'm going to need it to work on cooking. So it's just crazy to me, though. I know I'm going to sort of jump back to this, but why is it that cooking is so incredibly difficult to level up? It just really doesn't make any sense to me. It's very strange, very interesting. I don't understand why that was the one that they were like, okay, we're going to give the slowest XP in cooking of all things, because I feel like I've put a tremendous amount of time into it, and it's like the one skill that's given the least amount of reward. But potentially there's more to that. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the game progresses. This one's just going to go right off the cliff. There we go. You know how much is probably down there from that happening to me? Probably a ridiculous amount. But anyway, so I think potentially maybe cooking is going to offer you certain things, and that's why it's so hard to level up. It's possible that in the long run that you're going to have to make certain maybe drinks or maybe make certain food that's going to help you in a game, and obviously they want you to have to work towards that. I really don't think that's realistic, but at the same time I can't really think of another reason why they would have done that. So I've got no answer to that, but ultimately I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I'll never stop complaining about cooking because ultimately it's horrible. But because I've just collected so much, and it just doesn't really ever seem to sort of amount to a whole lot. But let's go ahead and do this, and then range is so amazing to kill these animals, but obviously you don't get any XP for using it, and there's so many sheep and ram, and it's interesting because I really don't need any more hide, I don't need any more fleece. So once range does come to the game, I'm going to be coming out here and working a lot on killing sheep and ram. Not really for resource purposes, except for cooking, really, but just for the fact that obviously they're going to be giving us resources that we can use to work on our cooking. Actually, it got so bad, it's gotten to the point where I feel like I should pull up all my lodestones at certain potential areas. I mean, obviously, I still got to work on rune crafting, but I felt like, okay, we could pull up all of our lodestones by the rune crafting areas and then sort of put those where there's like berry bushes and things like that, which is absolutely wild when you really, really think about it. But I thought to myself, that would be a pretty fast way to collect resources to level up cooking. But it's absurd that you would even have to do something like that. And if you really don't put a lot of time into the game, you just have to think about how long it would really take you to level up cooking. I think it would be just completely wild. Look at all this rune crafting things everywhere, and look at all these sheep and ram. It's just so plentiful. It's so hard for me to just leave all these guys right here. So we're gonna work on magic a little bit, which really wasn't part of the plan, but it's okay, I guess. I'm interested to actually see down the road how much resources I'm gonna have in different like area, right? I'm gonna have a ridiculous amount of fleece. I'm gonna have a ridiculous amount of all the different sorts of animal hides, uh, and I think that's just gonna be really interesting to see how much I have at the very end of all this, and it's just gonna sort of be sitting in here. My base actually should get raided pretty soon here as well, because I don't think we've been attacked in a while, which I think that's even kind of crazy too, when you really think about how many creatures come to fight you when they do in fact do that to your base. But you can see here, we're just trying to make sure we keep things a little bit organized, as that's been something we've struggled on since basically the game came out. I'm going to put all this random stuff away, and then we're actually going to level up cooking a little, not cooking, sorry, rune crafting a little bit. And there we go. We'll put these here, and then I'm just trying to put stuff back. So I guess I'll leave this here. What's our rune situation? We need to make basically a little bit of each. So I'm going to pop this rune crafting potion, work on it a little bit, and then basically we're probably going to call it. That'll be all we're going to do. But I feel like we've done quite a bit. It doesn't seem like it. Because I guess I mean, most of our stuff we've lately been doing is behind the scenes because we're trying to be considerate of your time, but as well try to keep progressing towards our ultimate goal, which is road to max. So you can see here, we are getting decent XP in rune crafting. It just takes time. That's really what it takes. So obviously we're very committed to the cause, our progression and our ultimate goals. So hopefully, I mean, I say this a lot, but I honestly mean it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your time in the game. And I think that a lot of the updates, like Fell Hollow, supposedly I think they said it was 2.5 to 3 times the size of this current whatever we got going right now currently in the game. So to think that potentially what we've got now is going to be basically, I guess, what we have here, you're going to add 2.5 times that. And I think that's absolutely wild to think that that's how much more we're going to have to play with in the game. So I think it's actually completely wild, and I'm really actually excited about it a lot. I've actually got a bunch of runes in here. I'm trying to find them so that way we can actually work on it a little bit more. Maybe it's, can't remember which one it's in, but we've got a lot of extra rune essence, so we'll just go ahead and use that as well. And we've got a warband attacking our base, so I think that's kind of funny that we were able to predict that. So hopefully we can find it. There it is. We took it. Now we can get out of here really quick, so that way we can take care of this little problem we've got going on here. So here they are. Look at them all. It's absolutely wild. Like, you would think that there's 4 people here right now. Maybe that's how they actually do it. Maybe the game doesn't know there's individual player playing, so they think, okay, let's send these in as if it's a group. Because obviously there's a part of the design where it could basically be like 4 people playing at once. So I wonder if that's how they designed the warband when they come to your base. It was sort of designed in a way that they're imagining you're playing with the actual amount of players who can play with you. So that would make a lot more sense, because I think it's a little bit wild sometimes, the amount that they send. That wasn't even all of them. We got 3 more archers over here. So I think this is absolutely wild that they're just going to send all this at you. You're just sort of sitting in your little base, all cozy, and then they're like, we're going to basically send a death squad to come and kill you. And so I think it's interesting too, because if you're not really prepared for that, or if you don't really have the right gear, can you imagine that wave of creatures coming, or goblins coming to your base? And I think it actually gets a lot harder once you get into the higher zones. Then they start sending these gigantic level 3 creatures after you that are just incredibly difficult to kill. So I'm not sure what their thoughts were on that, but you definitely can feel the pain when it happens. It's a little bit frustrating at times, because you most likely will die unless you've got other people playing with you, or unless you want to sort of navigate around the terrain and just do ridiculous amounts of dodging and things like that. But still absolutely crazy. So I'm actually clicking a little bit fast here, so some of the clicks aren't working, but we are going to have to put a little bit of our runes away because we've got too much to continue to make. So we've got quite a bit of fire. Let's do fire again. It looks like air runes really don't even have a good spot. We've got way too many law runes. So we'll do air. We'll do a little bit. We'll do two clicks of air, and then we'll do the rest fire. But I don't know. Obviously, I've spoken like a long time ago. There was actually a little thing, and it talked about how we weren't necessarily happy with the way that magic came in, and we're only level 50. So obviously, they're going to add different runes to the game, and then they're going to add different spells to the game. It's just going to take time, because obviously it's still early access, sort of. And but you can see here they've got a couple more spots, right? So I'm imagining it's like blood runes, death runes, what's water runes, and then potentially some other sort of rune. I can't even really think about it right now, thinking back. But whatever it might be, we're going to get more. So I think it's actually really exciting. So let's go ahead and go over an XP update. and then conclude this episode. So attack. I think we worked on that a little bit. So we're at 238 XP. And then we've got wood cutting sitting at 918,160. We didn't really work on that in this video. Construction 2,005,600. We've got rune crafting at 504,582. So we did hit 500,000 in rune crafting. I totally jumped over that. But I think that's a really big milestone. I mean, even though it's not necessarily a million, I think it's a really big deal. So magic, 75,635 XP. Mining, 4,057,000. And obviously we got a little bit more from working on rune crafting. Artisan, 4,038,000. Didn't really change it. And cooking, 197,131. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. But I think we're definitely making progress, and we're really quickly reaching different milestones and putting in the progress that's going to reach us to our ultimate goal. So until next time, Legion Nuta out.